Well, today we're going to take a look at the new silver line of Spartan blades as we thrash hard on the Damysus. But we got to ask ourselves, is the silver line just an overpriced K-bar, or if it truly has the Spartan spirit, but with a budget-friendly price? Well, that's right, folks. Welcome back to another video. Thanks for joining me today at another episode here at Gideonstactical. I'm your host, Aaron, and we're going to have some fun with this silver line of Spartan blades. Now, if you're like me and you love knives, you're probably aware of the brand Spartan blades. And I've always connected with their designs. They've always looked super awesome to me. The materials are super premium, but the price is very high as well. And so I've never had the opportunity to save up to that level to purchase a Spartan blade. So they've always kind of been on the radar, but just kind of out of reach. And so Spartan Blades has heard the request, seen the need, and so they have partnered with K-Bar and created what I believe is Pine Land Cutlery, I believe is what the owner of Spartan Blades said it was. And they basically are making, in partnership with K-Bar, budget-friendly versions of some of their designs with similar patterns. We're gonna run in some competitive options for you today as well, just to talk through the value to performance and what you can expect with this new silver line and whether or not it's worth investing in. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hit this blade shape. Love that drop point. Super, super nice. Very, very utilitarian, and basically can get almost any job that you want done. The blade shape is going to be able to perform very well. Now, the overall blade length is going to be 5.56 inches with an actual cutting edge of 4.88 inches. Now, with the choil, I think that that's a perfect blade length. Much shorter blade length, and I feel like the choil is kind of redundant. I don't really like compact fixed blades with choils. I usually gravitate to them either just that, and I prefer them to either have small ricassos or even almost no zero ricasso. Actually, I have just a little sharpening choil there. So the choil works good for the size of blade that it is. Again, just under 5 inches actual cutting edge. You're going to get a blade thickness of 0.19, so that's just a hair over 3/16 of an inch thick. So it's tough, durable, and then you are going to be looking at a high saber grind that goes up about 2/3 of the way, again with that nice drop. No 90-degree spine, so not an ability to throw sparks, no swedge or anything like that, but good strong tip that's going to be able to handle a lot of piercing tasks. You're not going to worry about being hard on the blade and the tip being too fragile. It's not a fragile tip, but it's definitely precise enough to get penetration, stabbing in that regard. And then it's made out of 1095 Crovan high carbon steel. You can even see it stamped in there, or right there on the blade. And it's produced by K-Bar. And so that steel is what you're going to find on every Becker knife, the BK line of knives. You're going to find that on all the K-Bar utility knives. You're going to find that fighting utility knives. You're going to find that on all the Jaras line, the Turok and the Globetrotter and those type of blades. It is their bread and butter for their larger knives, and they know it well. Rockwell 56 to 58. It's tough. It's durable. It holds a good edge. It is not rust resistant. The coating is holding up well. It's a slick coating, which is nice. I prefer that over the heavy traction coating they've been doing lately on Beckers. So it's a similar type of coating that you'll find on the Jaras Turok that we're going to look at here as a competitive option in a few minutes, and talk value and all that. So it's holding up well, as you can see through all the abuse. And the 1095, it will be very easy to resharpen in the field, but it's very tough and durable as well, which is good. You want that. You want some flex, some give. You want it to bounce back from hard use and not be so hard that, yeah, it holds a crazy edge, but it's going to snap because it's brittle and it's going to break. So that's not the case with this 1095, and I really like it a lot. And it is one of the best 1095s you're going to find on the market because K-Bar is making this for Spartan, and they're using their, from what everything I understand, they're using their recipe for 1095. So for a field knife at 5.5 inches overall length with a choil, I mean, you're going to get everything that you're going to expect. The carving, the whittling, it's got an edge geometry very similar to any K-Bar, so it's good. It's not mind-blowingly high or anything like that. So it's durable on the edge, but not overly thick, and it's not overly thin either. So regardless, really, if you're on the ranch, around town, around your home, or, you know, the crap hits the fan and it's in your go bag, or you are on the military base, you know, wherever it is. I believe that the way that they've laid this out is really going to perform well in almost any capacity as that utility medium-sized field knife. And I have zero negative things about the designing, the materials, and the layout of the blade portion of this knife. So any good field knife has got to have a good sheath. This is an injection molded polymer sheath that this is going to come with. It has lashing points all the way around that are compatible with Blade Tech locks. All these holes you could swap out for Blade Tech Molly locks, Blade Tech locks in general, those type of things if you wanted to, run paracord through them. It does have a nice drainage hole right there. It is ambidextrous, obviously. It is silent, which is nice. There's not a lot of rattle. Gonna stay in upside down so you can mount it in 360 degrees and you're not gonna have an issue with it. Now, this has a locking mechanism similar to a lot of pistols in that it has this little lever right here that is pushed up with your thumb. You push that up and it quickly and easily, if I can do this on camera, there we go, releases the blade. And then you click it back in, snaps into place, and it's not coming out. You push up. So in a normal hammer grip deployment, works fine. The one thing that I have noticed though is if anyone wants to deploy it on their weak side in a reverse grip, you basically can't do that with this sheath. If you were to try and grab it right here and pull, it's obviously locked in and you're gonna have to do some weird awkward thing with your thumb, and even then I can't pull it out. So you cannot really pull it out in a reverse grip. You have to pull it out in a front hammer grip and make sure that your thumb is then depressing and sliding up on that tab right there to release the knife. That's not a deal killer, but for some of you who maybe are thinking of using this and deploying it as a field knife, law enforcement or military, just know that you basically do have to deploy it in the front facing position in a hammer grip, otherwise it will not be released from the sheath. So that's not a deal killer, but I'm not super pumped about that aspect. Whereas if I look at here, this SOG pillar, obviously I can do it that way, but I can easily, in reverse grip, pull that sucker out and it's not coming out. Now it may not be jump ready, but that's the trade-off. Now when I got this, the backside really excited me. It had a big loop over, button snap, split webbing, so you could run it through PALS webbing or take it off without taking your belt off and swapping it back and forth that way, unscrewing it, working it back and forth. But what you're about to see is very disappointing. So I'm showing them, look at that. Buttons are tight. Oh, did I just break them? I did not have to put a lot of pressure to rip those out. They do not seem to be, yeah, I mean, that's just gonna come right apart. Okay, so you guys have seen all of this on film. I tore out the back of the button with not a lot of pressure. So, I mean, you gotta like, I don't know, use like a coin or the knife itself to try and like pop it out. But I mean, I tore it out the back of the aluminum there, which is what I'm assuming these are made out of. And now I've like warped this. I mean, it's unusable. These buttons are shot, and now I gotta either contact K-Bar / Spartan, whatever the Pine Lane or whatever they are now, that they're making this through, to try and figure this out. Not good. Yep, so there you have it. Totally tore out those buttons. Very disappointing. I don't know what I'm going to do I don't even know if I'm going to bother, you know, trying to get that swapped out. I might just completely unscrew this and put a Blade Tech lock on it or something like that, because, I mean, if that's going to happen the first time, there's a high probability it might happen again. So that's kind of a downer. So though the sheath holding the knife securely is good, and it does have a lot of mounting options, the thumb release and this drop attachment, I'm kind of 50-50 on the release and not excited at all about the actual attachment piece, and I'm gonna have to modify it in some way. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hit the handle here on this knife. What we're looking at is micarta with cross traction, kind of cut in, checkered, really nice. That's kind of something Spartan does with a lot of their blades. So micarta, that's an upgrade over what you're going to get stock, you know, from like Becker knives and even Turok knives and things, or excuse me, Jaraz knives that K-Bar makes. So that is a nice thing that you're going to see kind of as an upgrade, and on par with what you'd get from a Spartan. Now you got those 2 Allen head screws right there that really lock you into place. You're looking at about 5.1 inches overall handle length, good lanyard hole, kind of a pointed pommel back here. So you could do some non-lethal strikes if you like. Good kind of blocky jimping on the back there, so it's not super aggressive, not sharp in any way, which I prefer. And then again, you got that cut-in choil and then this kind of guard right here. Now, what I've noticed is that it's definitely kind of a more squared off design. The transitions are nice on top and bottom, and it's scalloped in here near the cut-in, but it is a flat, you know, handle. Think like the what SE used to do with their older line, you know, kind of squared off on the sides, which is what a lot of field and, you know, tactical utility knives, if you will, are, and how they're designed to keep it in hand under harder use than, say, a nice rounded ergonomic, you know, bushcraft style knife. So that's kind of the feeling there. In this back grip with my large size hands, got plenty of room to spare, even with leather gloves on. Going to fit in really nicely, give me good traction, really locked into place, not going to accidentally slide up and hurt myself. That jimping works really well there. It's placed nicely. Not going to hurt my fingers, you know, if I am doing harder push cuts in that regard. Same thing with that reverse grip, really going to lock me into place nicely for stabbing and that type of thing. Now, what I did notice when I did hold it in a hammer grip like this and then do harder push cuts, it was biting into the webbing here, but you're going to see that with a lot of the style of, you know, utility field knives versus the rounded full handle of, say, like a Becker line, BK line, or something like that, so, or a bushcraft knife. Now, when I did go up here to the choil and lock myself in here, work right over that thumb ramp, and then start doing my push cuts, that was very comfortable. No hot spots, did not create any finger fatigue and or issues. So I really did like that aspect a lot in that regard. So, I mean, it's a standard, I would say, field knife feel, where it definitely has squared off transitions, but it does have some scalloping in certain areas, which is nice. When you choke up on it with the choil, you can definitely get the carving that you want and more precision, but it still gives you a really heavy traction and good grip for those harder either stabbing, prying, slashing tasks. Now, there's a nice balance point right behind the guard there, which is what you would want. And it's going to come weighing in at 10.1 ounces. So that's the weight for the knife as well, which is a good medium weight for that field knife, compact survival knife, whatever you want to call it, style that this is fitting into. All right, so to answer that question that I posed early on in the video, is this overpriced K-bar or is this a budget-friendly Spartan blade? Two things can be true at the same time, yes and yes. Absolutely, this is an overpriced K-bar, but you are also getting the designing and the layout, if you will, of a Spartan blade. So it really depends, and I'm about to show that to you through some of these competitive options, what really you care about, where's your value system lie, those type of things. So I paid, again, $196, really $200 with tax over at GP Knives. I really encourage you guys, if you're looking for new products hitting the market, sometimes GP Knives has designs before anybody else does. So I'm glad they had it. They have it now in a couple different color combinations, even the micardic you can get in different color combinations. So check them out if this is connecting with you, or just other purchasing decisions in general. And I will have links for BladeHQ and Amazon as well for you guys. We just appreciate it when you purchase through the hyperlinks that we offer to you, as well as I want to give a quick shout out to my PayPal supporters. Those of you who give $5-10 a month, you really help me continue to make the content and do what I do and go out and purchase gear just like this. And if you want to be a PayPal supporter, those links are for you guys below. You know, simple $5-10 a month helps me get out there and make content just like this. So shout out to all of you viewers, and especially to those people who support through PayPal week in and month out. And so to begin this, I'll roll in the K-bar. Here's a one I've been kind of flashing to you guys. This is a Turok made out of 1095 Corovan steel, USA made. Larger blade, obviously. It will come with a polymer sheath, nylon drop that's ambidextrous. It's held up well over several years. I prefer it, obviously, based off of the kind of the flukes that we're seeing here, over what the Spartan blades comes with. It holds its retention well. This guy's going to be about $80 on average. It does have Zytel handle scales. They are contoured better than the Spartan. They're a little fuller, a little larger, no finger choil, nice swedge, 6-inch blade, a little beefier, but still in that field knife realm, in that field knife world. And you know, it's more than $100 cheaper, and it's being made in, if not the same factory, definitely with the same materials. And you know, K-Bar is helping Spartan with all this. But I would say anything that this Spartan blade can do, the K-Bar can do. Very, very similar performers, and in some respects, the K-Bar will be able to do even more with the slightly longer blade length and reach. And then to show you, you know, perspective here, for 190 bucks, so basically the exact same price as the Spartan, there is the SOG pillar. Now, some of you may balk and like, you know, they're not even in the same world. Well, last few years, SOG has really been stepping up their game. This is a USA-made knife with CPM S35 VN steel. Right there for you. Micarta handle scales, and is going to come with a Kydex sheath. Yes, SOG is stamped all over it. Not super pumped about that. Comes with a Blade Tech lock, lots of lashing options, holds really well, good retention. Exact same cost as this guy right here, and it's going to be a little slimmer, a little bit shorter, obviously not weigh quite as much. The ricasso is very large. You can basically use it as a choil, so it's very similar in that regard. It's a very similar knife, but it's made with the materials of any Spartan blade, and it has been obviously upgraded S35 VN over, you know, 1095 Crovan, so for the same price. So you can get the materials on any regular Spartan blade for the same cost of this budget-friendly 1095 version, and with arguably, in my opinion, a better Kydex sheath. So that really, you're really looking at these Spartan blades because you just really want a Spartan knife, but you can't afford, or it just makes a little more sense in your budget to go with the budget-friendly versions over these over the full priced version, because for less money you can basically get the same materials and same performance with the Turox or the BK line or things like that, and for the same money you can get premium steel and micarta and all those things with a SOG pillar. And there are a lot of other companies and brands out there that are using premium materials that are USA made that are right around that $200 price point. And so for me, if this Spartan had been priced in more around like 140, 150 bucks, I feel like that would have been a lot more reasonable and been a lot more competitive with the materials to what else is out there on the market. You know, price it around like an SE5, something like that. At 200, I feel like it's about 50 bucks overpriced for the materials that you're getting. Well, folks, in conclusion, this silver line I am really excited about. It is another cool option to have on the market. I think that it'll be awesome for some people who have really been wanting those Spartan blades but just can't afford it, or just it's not in the budget for the next couple years. They can get their hands on a design from Spartan blades and are still going to get a lot of performance. Now, in my opinion, you're really buying this knife because of the name on it and the design. And that's what you're going for. And if that's what you value, then awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's super cool. And you're going to see that name and it's going to make you feel good every single time. So for you, you just have to determine what you value most. Design and brand name, similar performance and capability, but at a cheaper price, or higher performance and materials at the same price. So I look forward to hearing from you guys on how you feel about this new Spartan Silver line and reading those comments below. I invite you guys to subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. Check out the other video popping up or throwing up content like this every single week. Become part of the GT family. You can follow us along on Instagram and Facebook as well. See what's going on behind the scenes and projects I'm working on. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.